Hey, Math Moment Makers. It's Kyle Pierce here from the Make Math Moments team. And unfortunately, at least where I am here in Ontario, we are back online during this pandemic. It seems like nonstop we are going online, back face to face, back online. And what educators are reaching out to us for quite a bit recently is resources. Now, resources is something that we're always in search of, whether we're face to face or online. So, in today's video, I want to take just a couple minutes to share 4 different options for how you can go about finding some resources, cutting down on that time, and then also a little bit of a tip on what you can do with your current resources in order to, instead of throwing out the baby with the bathwater, actually take what you're already doing and maybe make some tweaks to it in order to engage students and fuel sense making. All right, let's not waste any more time. Here we go. All right, as I was mentioning in the introduction, today we're going to be looking at some resources and some places that we can find resources. So I'm going to flip over to the computer monitor here. And first of all, Google, of course, that's your number one on trying to find resources. But the problem with Google is when we throw something in there like, I don't know, dividing fractions, there's lots in there, right? We've got videos in there. It says 56 million results, almost 57 million different results. And of course, Google does a pretty good job of sorting through some of those, but sometimes what you come across isn't necessarily what you're after, especially if you're a math moment maker and you're trying to deliver problem-based math lessons. What you're going to come across when it comes to concepts like dividing fractions, these concepts that we typically tend to rush to algorithms with, is you're going to get a lot of procedural content. You're going to get people showing how to solve or how to multiply or divide fractions, I should say, by simply flipping the second fraction and multiplying across the tops. All of those things. These are things that, we've all done before, we've all taught before. If you want something deeper that's going to help more students in your classroom, you might want to be narrowing this down a little bit. So the first resource I want to share with you today is our problem-based math search engine. So if you go to makemathmoments.com/find, I'll put this link in the description of the video and on our resource page. But if you head to makemathmoments.com/find, what you're going to find is not just Make Math Moments resources, you're actually going to be given and this is an actual Google search engine. It's powered by Google, so you know that it's going to still give you some really relevant searches, except we have selected the 50 or 60 websites or so. I can't remember what the count is right now. But basically, any website that we feel is a pretty effective or helpful website, we've included in this custom search engine. So now if I type in dividing fractions and search, I'm going to get like a regular Google search page, just like usual. One thing I will note is, just like on Google, there are some ads at the top. So, whoever pays for these ads to Google, they get listed first, sadly. But down here, you'll see under all of that, you'll get all kinds of different websites and suggestions for dividing fractions. Some of those resources are going to be from us at Make Math Moments, and that's great, but also from many others across the math space. So you'll see here first, Salting the Driveway is a unit on quotative division of fractions. If you're not sure what quotative division is, you're going to have to dive into this is Salting the Driveway. So this is partitive division, this particular unit of measure. It's a problem-based unit. There's 6 days to it, and you can dive right into it without a login. If you want all the downloads and the extra purposeful practice, then join up as an Academy member. However, you can be running these activities in your classroom straight out of the box right here, like you see up on the screen. So that's one thing you would see out of here. The next one here, we have Questioning My Metacognition. We've got an awesome website here. Here we are. And we're looking at, in this case, a blog post on using repeated subtraction for dividing fractions. So you can definitely check this out and see how that works for you. So this is basically on G. Fletchy or Graham Fletcher's website. So his website is a part of our search engine, and you can go ahead and read about that. You'll notice we've got our quotative division unit here, a video on how to teach multiplying and dividing fractions, but you'll also notice some other tasks like from illustrative mathematics. One of the tasks from my website, Tap into Teen Minds, and you'll notice as you go through here, less pages to pick from because again, we have hand-picked the different websites that you'll be seeing resources from. So definitely go check that out, and you're going to find all kinds of great resources over on makemathmoments.com/find, and that will help you do some searching. All right, the second place that I think is useful for us to highlight, because there's tons and tons of activities, as well as not only useful for in-person, but also for online. And I find that there's not, I mean, there's a lot of people using this website, but I find so many educators still are unaware of some of the features. So many people have heard of Desmos, the graphing calculator. When you head to their main website and you click on graphing calculator, you get this super slick, awesome graphing calculator. But something that you might not be aware of, if you go to teacher.desmos.com, and this is a link right on their main website. I'll even show it to you right here. If we click and scroll down, you're going to see, look at this, use Desmos in a classroom. Browse activities. This brings you to teachers.desmos.com. And what you have is all kinds of awesome Desmos activities that you can be utilizing in your classroom. And the coolest part is that it's all free. They do have a paid curriculum that you can check out. It's super cool, but they also have so many resources that are 100% free for you to try and to put into use. So I'm just going to click on one here. This is Intro to the Coordinate Plane. I've checked this one out. This is pretty cool. There's actually 4 different activities here that you can try. This one's called the Awesome Coordinate Plane Activity. If I go ahead and give that a click, not only does it let me, first of all, I'd have to log in if I want to, run this and use this with my class. I'm already logged in here, but I can essentially go through and try this as a student first, just to kind of stretch my legs and see what this would be like if I was a student. And this is the same for all of their activities. So here we are. This one is target practice. It says time for some target practice. Change the numbers in the table below so the point hits the bullseye. So something that I really love, and John also, one of the co-founder of Make Math Moments, we love about Desmos is that it is very problem-based. It's very inquiry, investigative. It's sort of a try it before you buy it or learn it sort of approach. Whereas traditionally in math class, we tend to teach kids things like we say, hey, today we're going to learn about the coordinate plane. And, there's this axis at the bottom here. We call that the x-axis. And then there's this like vertical axis. We call that the y-axis. And then we teach them all about it. Here, they're just saying, you know what? Like, here's some stuff. And we're going to work through it, and you're going to land on some of this information, much like a baby would exploring their surroundings, right? So here we are, and they're saying, well, if 5 under this X column, students might not even know, like X and Y, I don't know what this is yet. That's completely fine, because all we're going to do is tinker. 5 and 1 for Y is right here. They're like, well, let's try. Let's see what 6 is. Let's see what 9 is. Oh, that's maybe not. Let's see what 2. 2's getting me like, looks like I'm going left and right when I'm playing with this value. How about this? If I go to 0, 1, 9, whoops, 9, 6. Oh, that was a 5. 6. I'm in the bullseye. Wait a second. I think already I can make some conclusions about how this thing works, this coordinate plane, as we'll learn later in our class. Here, they're saying add numbers yourself. So very quickly as the teacher, I'll be able to tell, because on the teacher dashboard, I can actually see what students are doing in real time. I'll be able to tell how students are, like, is a student starting with like 9 and 9 on this second screen? And if that's the case, or 9 and 7, just so you can see this point, if that's the case, then clearly they didn't notice, they didn't pick up on the pattern or the trend from that first screen yet. That's not necessarily like a bad thing, but it does give you a little bit of something to think about as the educator. Maybe I want to go by there and I want to ask them a purposeful question, so on and so forth. And the students who come in and say, like, right away, they're like, oh, 3.5 and 2 or so. If like you see a student do that on the first time, you're like, okay, I think they're really quickly picking up on this. So super, super cool. One of the really cool parts is once you actually like create and create a session for your class, you can assign it to your class, or you can just create this one-time only code, and I can tell, I can decide how long to keep it active for. Here we go. I'm just gonna do this really quickly just so you can see it. I now have this opportunity. I can share this session code with my students. And because I set it to only be open for 48 hours, that's why we have a little date there. And as I go to view dashboard, it looks a little different than that student view we just saw. We get our students to sign in here. They head to student.desmos.com. They type in their code and they're ready to rock and roll. And the cool part is that I have all these really cool features up here. Like, first of all, I have all the different screens, and I can actually see my students who would be appearing in this list here. I can actually see how they do, and I can even overlay their responses as we go. So all kinds of really cool features. This video is not about me teaching you all about Desmos. I just want you to know that Desmos is here. The beauty is, again, it's free. I would create a login just so that all of this information is saved and that you can assign these tasks to your students. But ultimately, at the end of the day, there is so much here for you to dive into, and they have all kinds of great tools and resources, like on how to get started, all kinds of different things here. So there's so much on the internet on how to run these things. There's webinars. John and I have done some webinars as well, so definitely check that out on the Make Math Moments website. And I think this is a resource. If it's not already one of your go-tos, it definitely should be. All right, we talked about 2 resources so far. We talked about the search engine on the Make Math Moments website, makemathmoments.com/find, or right up at the top here, if you go to teach, you can actually click on problem-based search engine. That's where you'll find that on our website. We talked about the Desmos teacher activities, or the classroom activities, by going to teacher.desmos.com. 2 different resources. Another one that I want to make sure that you are well aware of are all of our problem-based math lessons on the Making Math Moments That Matter site, makemathmoments.com. If you click up on tasks, you're going to see over 30 different problem-based units. I want to be very specific here. If you're new here and you haven't been to this page yet, each of these tiles, there's actually maybe 3 or 4 that are only single lessons, but the majority here, the vast majority, are full-blown units of study. Our most recent unit of study that we've released is called Pop Goes the Volume, and it's all about the volume of a cylinder, a cone, and a sphere, and it's all problem-based. You'll see down at the bottom here, here's all of your tabs to work through the lesson. You'll notice we head straight to the Spark tab. This is what students would see. For members, people who sign up for a membership, you can like download the full slide decks and all of the extra bells and whistles, but you can actually run this lesson straight from the web, and you also have a teacher guide to help you out. So the reason why we default to the Spark tab is so that if you're running this with your students, there's none of that anticipation is lost or anything like that. So as you'll see here, this will actually lead you through as the educator on how to run this task, the prompts that you want to be using, the estimation prompts that we're going to use, as well as even providing a reveal at the end, much like a 3-act math task would have, except the one big difference for us is that we're big on fueling sense making. We're not just running this task to engage students. We want to make sure that students, we're sparking their curiosity in order to fuel their sense making. That is our goal here as we work through this unit. So you'll notice on day 1, we're a problem-based lesson and unit. We also have some consolidation prompts to make sure that, students are understanding what is going on in this particular concept, this area. On day 2, we typically go into purposeful practice. So we provide opportunities for students to practice with this new skill, this new concept. And then we head into another problem-based lesson as we work through the unit. So definitely head on over to the makemathmoments.com tasks page or tasks area and dive straight in here. And oh my goodness, while we're here, I just want to share one really cool thing, because what we've got going on, a lot of people have been asking us just, in terms of saving you time for resources. This is a draft page. It is not live yet on our website. And there's just few last little tweaks left. But basically on our problem-based units page, we're going to have these 4 tabs where, if you're from the US, you can go straight to Common Core. If you're from the Ontario curriculum, Ontario like John and I, you can head to this tab, or you can just go straight up with topics. The one that I love the most, though, is this concept continuum tab. As we build out more and more units, we're going to be aligning them on what we call a concept continuum. So it really doesn't matter where you're from. You could be from Australia or England or China. It doesn't matter what curriculum you're running. We're going to do this developmentally. And what you'll see, for example, are number and operations with whole numbers. You'll see right at the beginning of this trajectory, and we'll work our way through so that you quickly get a sense as to where I want to begin. Now you'll see different grade levels, so that'll help you as well. I'm just going to move out of the way so you could see that different grade levels. So it gives you sort of a sense, like over here, you could be doing this with some of the earlier grades all the way through. So this is a work in progress. Something that I think is really cool. Like I say, if you go to Common Core, I can click on grade 6. That'll bring me all the way down here to grade 6, and you will start to see the different lessons or units in a pretty developmentally appropriate sort of pathway. And we'll also be able to filter by different expectations or standards in your curriculum. So that's something coming new. I wasn't planning on sharing that, but I'm really excited about it. It's coming up very, very shortly and will be live on the website to make your life looking through and finding resources really, really helpful. So we've got 3 things down. We've got the search engine, which we've shared. We have the Desmos teacher activities and classroom tools. And we just shared all of the Make Math Moments problem-based units. The last resource I'm going to share, it's actually more about how you can take your current resources you have and transform them into something curious that will fuel sense making. And that is through our current challenge that we have for you as educators to take your current curriculum, your current resources, and transform them into engaging math lessons. So rather than having to go all over the internet and finding all these different resources and trying to plug them into different places, what if we could take our current curriculum that we have and we could just apply different elements to transform them into engaging and curious tasks? What we have right now are 4 live sessions. We actually did the first one as I'm recording this. The first one just the other night, January 5th, was the first one. By the time you're watching this, maybe the second one's happened, but there will be replays for you to check out. So I'm really encouraging you to come on over here and actually register for this free, awesome opportunity for you to be able to elevate your own curriculum resources. So, I've given you 3 places you can find resources, but I think one of the most valuable things you can do for yourself and for your students is to take what you're currently doing and transform it using these elements that we're going to be sharing. So the other night we were online with over 250 educators. They've accepted the challenge. We've challenged them to now take something that they were going to use in the coming weeks and to transform it utilizing our elements that we shared through this particular program. Something else you're going to get if you register, even if all 4 sessions have happened, if you register, you're going to get the replays sent to your email. So be sure to head over and register. I'll put the link in the video description, but just for those who are really good auditory learners, it's makemathmoments.com/transform. Once again, that's makemathmoments.com/transform. And my friends, it has been my pleasure hanging out with each and every one of you again on this weekly YouTube video. Do us a huge favor. Hit that subscribe button. Do us a favor. Give us that thumbs up. You don't know how much that helps when Google sees these signals coming from those who are watching these videos. And if you're finding them valuable, why not hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe so Google knows to send this to more educators from around the world so that we can all elevate our math teaching practice through different pedagogical practices, as well as increasing or elevating our math content knowledge. Once again, my name's Kyle Pierce from Make Math Moments. And if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button and we will see you in the next video.